So the other day I was on a plane and I saw this guy that had just a few like very pluggy looking, you know, obviously he was an old guy. He'd had a hair transplant done quite a long time ago, and he had maybe, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, like very few, but these very pluggy kind of like you know, hair that was still left in the top of his head, right? And it obviously looked awful. So I got me to thinking about, you know, having had a hair transplant myself, what kind of might have gone wrong during that guy's surgery, and you know that only a few of these transplanted hairs were even left. You know, why weren't there not kind of more of them? So just obviously you didn't see the guy that I'm talking about, but what are some of your guesses as far as what could have gone wrong, you know, to leave that guy in that kind of position?
Sure. Well, just from knowing the history of hair restoration surgery, you know, back in the day when they still did the large 4mm plugs, it was not uncommon for guys to come in and get multiple small procedures. I'm talking sometimes they'd come in and get 25 or 50 grafts done. So that was not out of the norm at one point in the process, where these guys were taking large plugs and trying to put it into a focused, concentrated area, and they would charge the patient whatever. They'd come back from multiple procedures over multiple periods of time. So it's very possible this guy had maybe 1 or 2 and they did a small amount, and he never went back and never did more. But the answer is that what they never anticipated or planned for from years, and we're talking 20 plus years ago now, is they never anticipated or planned for that continued hair loss. We have ways to combat that now, obviously with finasteride, with minoxidil, with the laser, etc. So we have ways to combat that hair loss so that you can have a measured response with how much hair you're going to lose over time. The beauty, though, of the transition and the advent of follicular unit transplantation, where we're using smaller grafts and variable size grafts, is that it's always going to look natural, and we're able to cover a larger surface area. So even if you do lose more hair behind or in between, it always still looks natural. It looks like your own hair. It just looks like you're having a little bit of thinning. So you can always come back and add more density to it. But back then, what they did was take these large plugs, you know, that's what they call them, and you still call them that today. When you look and you see those are plugs. That's doll's hair, and they would disperse it within the area where the hair was thinning. And for a while, it worked great. Oh, this is exactly what they're looking for, because you couldn't see the pluggy effect of it, because the other hair was sort of you know, transitioning it and sort of camouflaging it. But as that other hair went away, well, guess what you're left with is nothing but the plug. And that plug, as you can see, that plug doesn't go away. That plug is there. Many times I have to see patients, they went too low, and I actually have to surgically excise the larger plugs, or even remove tissue to get the plugs out of there, so we can give them a natural hairline. So it's difficult to work with those old technologies, but that's the answer.
You know, it's funny because I asked just about a couple minutes ago, I asked Dr. McGrath if he'd ever, like, heard, what did I say? I said, what, like, why don't you get a hair transplant done, or like, yeah, because I'm sitting here right here with him. I mean, you guys aren't as close as me, but I'm sitting right here with him, and I've actually had 2 hair transplants done. I thought that I kind of knew what they looked like, you know, and or I thought that I would be able to pick them out, but I literally had no idea. I mean, I'm looking at him right now, and I'm still like, really, you had a hair transplant? Like, I would have no idea. It's just literally, you cannot tell. And it's the same thing for mine. I don't think that mine actually is as unnoticeable as Dr. McGrath's is. But I have never had one person, like not one person. I've had, you know, multiple haircuts from many different people. Not one person who's cutting my hair ever asked me, oh, did you ever have like anything done? And I've told them, they're like, really? Like, where? So yeah, I mean, it's just so unnoticeable. I'm shocked. I'm actually surprised personally that no one ever notices, but I've not had one person in 2 years ever ask me if I had any kind of a hair transplant, except for saying that, hey, you have like a lot more hair now, like, how's that? But no one that went, oh, did you have work done, you know? So.
Yeah, well, I think it's the old adage, you know, you don't notice the good work, you don't notice, because it is good work, and so the good work goes unnoticed, but the only ones you see are the bad cases, and so but the vast majority of, you know, good work out there, you'd never be able to tell.